Thank you so much, Shreya. And then now I have to thank not just the real Shreya, but also the 2.0 Shreya. But good morning, and I'm very, very warm welcome to all of you. Fabulous to see this crowd here. What an amazing atmosphere, right? I mean, this is much better than what we used to before. But this is one of the largest edition of NTLF ever, and I'm very confident that this will also turn out to be one of the best. Look, we come together to celebrate the remarkable achievement of our industry and discuss the exciting future that lies ahead of us. So, if you know the history of NTLF, after a couple of years of virtual NTLF, and of course the hybrid edition we had last year, it is great to see each other in person and have a normal conference, which is what we all want in some sense, right? So the NTLF this year continues with the theme, and we started a few years ago, of shaping the decade. And then, of course, we kind of extended it by saying shaping the decade with AI. So in 2023, if you look at the year which went by, if there is one trend that truly defined this year, it is generative AI. I'm sure all of you would agree with that. Every conversation, surprisingly, not just amongst the technology folks, but with everybody, from the technologists to almost the drivers, I must say. And I was just telling somebody before we walked in the speaker lounge that my driver chooses to work from home. You know, that's what he does. And when he does, and recently came up and asked me, will his job be impacted by generative AI? So we have this spectrum of people who actually talk to you about generative AI is pretty large. The last year, as I mentioned, is truly remarkable. AI continued to permeate various aspects of our life, revolutionizing the industry and enhancing our daily experience in many ways. It's also great to see, now switching gears, how India has become a central part of the global CXO discussion. Have you noticed it? I mean, the last couple of years, I think it's a lot more today. The Indian economy grew 2x faster than the global economy, and the investments that we have done in the physical and the digital infrastructure, and of course, its young demographics, is actually shaping what Harvard Business Review, HBR, they wrote it as inevitable India. So that's a huge progress which the country has been making and then continues to make as well. So this decade is actually ours in many ways, right? So this is India's time. So NTLF is also the great time when we share the industry performance for the year went by and what really lies ahead. So the technology industry in India is now a $253 billion industry, and we employ roughly over 5.4 million people. So that's a fairly good-sized industry. It continues to be the #1 global sourcing hub, the third largest technology startup ecosystem, and amongst the top 10 e-commerce and the third largest digitized country in the world. So phenomenal progress which India has made, and then it continues to make as well. So given the global headwinds in 2023, the industry did witness a slower growth, as all of us could agree with that, but still added $9 billion in terms of incremental revenue, and we added 60,000 new jobs as an industry. So I just wanted to thank all of you and congratulate all of you, actually, to all the industry leaders who are sitting here, because nasscom doesn't produce these numbers. You all produce the numbers, and we actually put it together and collate this. So thank you for all of that. But I want to highlight very quickly 4 specific areas which actually stood out from our results when you look at 2023, right? So number 1 is ER&D, and those of you who from that industry need to be really proud of yourself, because ER&D sector alone contributed 48% of the total export revenue added in FY 2024, and is growing at double digits. By the way, FY 2024 is another month to go. Hopefully, we'll close all of that. The second one was GCC. I see my colleague Sindhu sitting there. She and her council has done a lot of work around GCCs. They've been sort of expanding their service portfolio, and also at the same time adding totally new GCCs, setting up operations around India. So the industry saw an addition of 53 new GCCs in 2023, right? And of course, the total talent employed by GCCs today are more than 1.6 million people. So thank you for all of you from GCCs. The third element is also the domestic IT. How much we have come along, how long we have come in the domestic. When I say domestic, for those of you who not from here. It is the Indian market, and when we serve the Indian market, we call it domestic IT. For the very first time, the domestic IT growth exceeded the export growth, which is phenomenal. And this was, of course, supported by the government investments, embraced totally the emerging technologies within India. And of course, the pipeline for tech services in domestic market grew at 7.8%. Good. So the last one, and I will sort of wrap up, is the startup ecosystem. And I must mention that most of you are from the startup ecosystem. India remains the third largest tech startup ecosystem, as I mentioned before, with over 950 tech startups founded in 2023, contributing to a total of more than 31,000 tech startups in the last 10 years. If you look at last 10 years, we had 31,000 tech startups. The cumulative funding of these tech startups from 2019 to 2023, which is roughly about 4 years or so, exceeded $70 billion in equity. So that's a big progress that we are making around the tech startups. Now, when you look at our team, sort of shaping the decade with the AI, as we all know, the first time the term artificial intelligence was used was about 70 years ago. I don't know how many of you know this. 1955 was when the term was used. Of course, the evolution of AI has ever since has been characterized by steady progress, punctuated by periods of rapid advancement. Now, what we have seen in the last, I would say, 12 to 18 months or so, is an explosion of AI capabilities and adoption. Of course, Gen AI is probably the driver for some of this. So as an industry, at the forefront of this AI revolution, we have made progress in building capabilities as NASScom and our industry. Over 650,000 employees of our industry are already being trained in generative AI skills just in the last 1 year alone. So from a NASScom perspective, 2023 has been a year of seizing AI opportunity and defining the role India should play. So Debjani and the team have been extensively engaged with various stakeholders, government, academia, technology industry, of course, and of course the startup ecosystem that we mentioned, to understand what is the opportunity for India, what are some roadblocks that we can potentially encounter, what can be the possible interventions that we need to do. So great work by the team. So there's still a lot needs to be done, I agree, but AI is definitely the top of the mind of the government and industry. And you will hear from the minister later today how they are building an inclusive approach to AI in India. The Future Skills Charter of NASScom, we run it with the government, is also a great example of how public-private partnership can build new scalable approaches to enhance India's advantage. So, as always, NTLF is the place where you get to learn and, of course, share about the future of this industry. And we all know the future of the industry will be largely determined by the advancement of AI. So we have one of the best speakers, or one of the best set of speakers, if you may, on AI in this forum. The best leaders, analysts, and of course the thought leaders from across the industry. So please do leverage these 2 days to fully, in terms of building new connections, gain new insights, and of course sharing your learnings, and most importantly, have a lot of fun, because that's more important, and we're going to have more of those updates coming pretty soon. We have a very large experiential area, as you saw from when you walked in. Please do visit those booths, and of course, witness innovation and AI in action. So before I wrap up, let me reiterate that India's tech industry has demonstrated resilience, adaptability, and innovation in the face of challenges. We've always, not only weathered the storm, but also emerged stronger than ever. So as we move forward, it is essential to continue investing in digital skills, fostering innovation, collaboration, and of course, embracing emerging technologies. So together we can navigate challenges, seize opportunities, of course, shape a future with the technology empowers and transforms lives. As I hand it over to Debjani for a fireside chat with some of the AI visionaries, I want to thank all of the members of my colleagues, actually, from the NASScom EC, from the NASScom Chairman's Council, and of course the Industry Council for so much that you do for this industry, and the role to shape this wide array of programs that NASScom is building and scaling up with our team, which is shaping the decade. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it.
For more content on tech and leadership, Subscribe to NASScom YouTube channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.